Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Now, before we start today, uh, oh shit, I screwed up the intro. This is always a good sign when I screw up the intro. Anyways, backing up a few seconds. Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Today we will be reading Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by K.A. Applegate. Now, before we start, I'm just going to explain two things. The first is why there was no new episode on Monday. Uh, for all those of you who missed this week's episode of The Raven Speaks. Basically, my husband got hurt, went to the ER, everything seemed fine, but his leg was still in pain. Don't worry, like around Wednesday, he had a doctor's appointment, and turned out all he needed was rest. But on Monday, that sort of ER visit made me get home slightly late. Plus, I was tired, so I wasn't really in the mood to record. And uh, I was like just on high alert in case he needed anything, in case anything went wrong. So that's why there was no recording on Monday. Also, I'm recording this much later than I wanted to. I like to do these recordings maybe around 4 or 5 p.m. my time. And it's a little after 8 my time. And today was another adventurous day, but this time for a good reason. We got another bird cage for Lemon, so she'll be able to fly around more and hopefully won't feel as cooped up. So that'll be awesome. And yes, and then we had a little lunch, and then we got home, and yeah, and a friend drove us around, so we hung out a little bit. Then he left, and yeah, so sorry about the lateness there. Because after I do this recording, I like to edit a fanfic chapter, get the chapter out, and do some self promotion. So, well, that's really the reason I really don't like to get started late these days. But anyways, about the lovely chapter we will be reading, it will be narrated by our fearless leader, Jake. Live. The good news was Marco had gotten out of the neighborhood, so he couldn't destroy any more trash cans. The bad news was he'd gotten onto the highway. Pass on the left! Pass on the left! Not on the right! Hey, I'm cool now. Marco yelled through the open back window of the truck. This is just like the game now. No problemo. It isn't dark on the video game. Sure, the part with the tunnel. You mean the part where you always crash and burn? We were tearing down the highway at 70 miles an hour, weaving through a stream of bright red taillights. I was halfway into the tiger morph. I was deliberately dragging it out, keeping the Veleek interested. It was working. The Veleek was interested. I was standing in the rattling, swaying bed of a junky old pickup truck, and just about 5 car lengths back there was a beast 50 feet wide that was nothing but sheer destruction. Occasionally, the other motorists on the road would offer us advice. I could hear bits and pieces of it as we shot past. Idiots! Why don't you? What kind of a moron? Where'd you learn to drive? Jersey, you stupid. It's gaining on us. I told Marco, this thing won't go any faster. Good, I said. Off-road, we're going off-road. No! But it was too late. Ka-bump, bum, 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 bum. The truck plunged off the road, jumped a ditch, slammed through a wire fence, and aimed straight for the trees. Tree left, tree right, tree, 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 tree. Branches scraped at the sides of the truck. And behind us, chewing through the trees, came the Veleek. Rah! Marco, I'm almost morphed. I'm going to bail. Give me 5 minutes, then it's your turn. Yeah? Marco yelled. Jake, be careful, man. Try not to destroy Cassie's dad's truck, okay? Get ready. Slowing down. He slammed on the brakes. Whomp! The side of the truck slid into a tree. I sprang from the bed of the truck. Marco floored the truck and sped off through the brush, engine roaring. I landed like the cat I was. The tiger inside me knew where we were, knew it in his bones. This was a cat born and bred for dark nights and dense forests. In a rush of sensory information, I heard, smelled, saw the environment around me. Dark, penetrating eyes, ears attuned to every small sound. A sense of smell that told me stories of deer and wolves and wild pigs that had passed through this area. But what I needed most was the cat's agility and speed. I completed the morph. As long as no one else morphed and distracted it, the Veleek would chase me. At least, that's what I hoped. Rah! It was on me. I turned with lightning speed and did the one thing the Veleek could not expect. I charged straight at it. Dust Beast hesitated, then stopped. Roar! I let loose a roar that would make a grown man wet his pants. I unleashed the incredible power of my coiled muscles. I leapt through the air, claws outstretched. It was an attack that would kill just about any animal walking around on this planet. But it would have had no effect on the Veleek. At the last second, before my paws could encounter those rows of gnashing teeth and spinning blades, I stuck my head, drew my paws back, and hit the ground directly beneath the dust beast. Shoom! Right under him, right under the Veleek, and out the far side. I hauled my orange striped tail out of there at maximum warp. Let's see how fast you can turn, creep. Haha, not fast. It took the Veleek several seconds to turn itself around. And I thought, well. So it does have some weaknesses after all. It ripped through the trees and undergrowth like the out of control vulture it was. Tigers are fast. Tigers are powerful. But tigers do not have great endurance. I was a sprinter, not a marathon runner. I moved out, racing wildly through the trees, turning sharp left, then sharp right, doubling back again, and the somewhat clumsy Veleek couldn't catch me. But I couldn't keep it up. I was winded, panting, tongue hanging out, exhausted. It was time for a distraction. I hoped Marco could provide it in time. The plan was to run the Veleek back and forth from one morph to another. I wanted to hunt morphs. We would give it morphs to hunt. It wasn't much of a plan. It only worked if the creature could be worn out. But the odds were we'd all wear out first. I fired myself up a tree. Claws bit deep into the bark. Tired muscles propelled me up and up through the branches. Rah! The Veleek chewed through the tree I was on. I looked down and saw it right below me. The tree was still standing, but the Veleek had shredded the base, and it was chewing its way straight up the tree. I leapt into darkness. I fell, claws outstretched, through the night air. And that's that lovely chapter. Isn't it great? You know, kids growing up with their heroes going, well, I'm fucked. like like a few times every book it's like, well, we're fucked. Yeah. Sorry, I've the Friends van like has no AC at the moment. And it's Florida, it's starting around summer season, so it's I thought I was going to drown in my own sweat like a few times there. So I'm so sorry I'm drinking a little bit more than normal. That's why I'm still recovering my fluid intake. Good. And if you have never had to experience the horrors of being in a vehicle without AC in Florida during summertime, yeah, that's hell. That's you have not experienced hell. But anyway, enough about the Florida hell. How about this Animorphs hell? I love Marco's driving. As I said before, I really connect to that on a very deep, nearly spiritual level there. It's like great. It's I just loved it. Like Marco's like, "Oh, don't worry, this part's just like the game now. I'm going to be fine." And Jake's like, "Dude, you always crash. You always crash." I just you can really tell in this chapter that Marco and Jake are great best friends because Jake's like I sort of has this I fucking want to kill you, Marco. I fucking want to kill you. But at the same time he does care, and Marco shows he does care, like, be safe, Jake. So yeah. And this is another chapter where we discover another of the Veleek's weaknesses, which is it can't really turn well. And since this creature is from Saturn, and Saturn's a gas planet, that there wouldn't really be a need for the Veleek to be quick at turning. And plus, its usual prey is just energy. And so, yeah, don't think that the energy could really hide that much. Or maybe that's how some of the energy does get away. Who knows? Yeah. Sorry, be my usual nerdy self. And so Jake points out, yes, we found one of this creature's weaknesses, but at the same time, it doesn't really mean jack or shit because it all depends on how long the Animorphs can hold out. Morphine, remember, does take an energy toll out. So they're going to be tired from, running around plus morphine. It'll be really exhausting. And just for the tiger morph, as Jake points out, tigers are sprinters. They're not marathon runners. So it's like, oh shit, just that one morph might tire out before the Veleek can get to him. So yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about this Veleek's weakness of not being fast at turning? Do you have any headcanons about why the Veleek wouldn't be good at turning? And what do you think about Marco's driving again? I don't know if I asked this last time, but what do you think about Marco's driving? Now remember, when you do comments and reply to those questions or just general comments about the chapter, no major spoilers. I want people to come into the Animorph series via these videos, which means there are going to be, which means I don't want people to get spoiled over the twists and turns of this series. I want them to encounter the twists and turns without knowing they're happening. Now, major spoilers are defined by anything past this point in the series. So if you want to talk about, say, the Veleek's biology with information from maybe book 2 or 3, that's not really major spoiler, as on this channel we have already covered those. And if people are watching this dramatic reading in chronological order, they will have watched the dramatic readings for 2 and 3. So yeah. And hey, if you're new to the Animorphs series, welcome, Phantomorphs. We sadly do not have, we don't have cookies in this fandom. However, we do have cinnamon buns, aka humanity's greatest creation, so yay! And also, if you were watching this dramatic reading, and we're going to, hey, Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by Kay Applegate sounds really fucking awesome. If you're on the YouTubes, link in the description. If you're on my blog, link down below, and both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by K.A. Applegate. Now, by buying from the links I provided, you will be able to support, the people who helped make the Animorph series. Plus, you will be able to support me and everything I do on the blog, including Be Funky, which I use to make the graphics. And, as a thank you for reviews I've done and anything that, doesn't violate copyrights. I'm going to need to start to do some of my original work again, but my problem is I keep on getting fucking plot bunnies. Game of Thrones season 8 ended, and yeah, I I got one fanfic started, sort of a minor one, because I'm like, this seems like a good idea. I want to write fic for it. And then I was thinking of another idea, and I even had a title for it. And then someone's like, hey, why don't you write fic for this? And I'm like, shit, now a day later, I mean, I was thinking, oh, I still won't write. Then, like, a day later, I'm like, shit. So I will start to do my original work again. I just need to get through all these fanfic projects because they keep piling up, and I need to get them at a certain point before I start doing original works again. But I promise they will be done. So Chronicles of Gaia, the Reverend's Call, and Those That Pray will all be completed sometime in the future. Yee! But anyways, those are things that, your donations will help. And hey, if you are on the YouTubes, please like this video for Marco's driving. I think this is the last time this book that we'll get to see Marco's lovely driving skills like this. At least, with him and with others in the car. So, just like for Marco's awesome driving. And also, if you're on the YouTubes, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, because guess what? I will be reading the rest of the Animorph series. Yes, every book I will cover it. And hey, yeah. But the two books I won't be covering are the two Alternamorphs, which are shit. Maybe I'll do a review of those books, but yeah, I'm not doing dramatic reading of those pieces of shit. I'm a strong woman, but I do have my limits. And if you're watching this on my bloggity blog and watching on the desktop version of my bloggity blog, please choose the follow by email option. I don't just do dramatic readings like this. I do some fanfic, some longer posts, reviews, and a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned, please. And by choosing the follow by email option, you will never again miss out on any of my awesome content. And the next episode of Jash Reads will be more of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift, and will occur in a few short hours, so hang tight or something. Don't know why the hell I said that. And until next video, goodbye.